Alright guys, so for today's video we're gonna change my boost controller, sorry not my boost controller, my boost gauge from the Turbo Smart to my matching Defi gauge. This very good turbo, this is a very good gauge by the way. Main reason I'm changing it is the illuminator, the lights in itself, the LEDs seem to have been blown. So when I turn on the light, as you can see, nothing happens. So it works otherwise, but at night I can't see, even though I have the Honda with the gauge and everything. You still want to have everything kind of line of sight, and I can keep everything a bit uniform with the Defi gauges as well. That's actually one of the main reasons. So let me go ahead and start pulling up for this. Let me show you the Defi gauge that's going in there. So as you can see, very similar to the one that's there. The only difference is this one illuminates all the time, while this one only illuminates when the light turns on. But you get the same sweeping effect, and it comes with somewhat of an electronic Defi gauge thing, and then you attach the boost in here, and yeah, it's just a fancy version of that one. That's very straightforward. So I'm just gonna start routing. So I'm gonna pull this down. Usually what you'll do is to pull these two screws, and then you're able to pull this forward. But so because I go behind this so often, I didn't bother to screw up mine, so I left it alone. So it's easy for me to pull out. So let me get it out. And then what I'll try to do then is to disconnect the gauges. It's hard to work with one hand. So let's see. One gauge gone. Let's get the PLX. I don't think the PLX is so easy. This one is kind of straightforward. I just need to get the boost line off. 1 second. Alright, so I got it off, as you can see, and now I just need to get this wires cut. So I'm gonna use my wire cutter and just snip it, because it's just power and ground really, so I can literally just snip it. Just give me a sec, let me try and get this done. Just put it down here a sec, and let me just cut this off. So gauge is off. This is a pretty simple setup. So it's the vacuum hose goes here, and then you have two power and ground, and then it reads here. But the lights, as I say, stopped working. I don't know if you can see these little things here. So yeah, this is what light up the gauge, but it's not working now. So I'm gonna run this. It should look pretty neat in there. Alright, yeah, should look good. Alright, so next step is to actually now run the wires I'm gonna disconnect the section that goes into the engine bay. I'm gonna run it through the engine bay into here. It's easier to run from engine bay in than from under here, so to there. So pro tip. So I get to the engine bay. Might as well I get the gauge. Alright. Let's get there. Now the engine bed's a bit dirty, but you know, there goes already. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run it through here. Alright, I can pretty much take this out because it's no longer attached, and then I'm gonna fish that through here, so, and then take it from there in. So it would be this white wire. So it's the white wire here. It's the power right here. So around this through here. Simple as that. Then I simply go into the car and look for the wire that's coming in, and here it is. It's not that hard. And then here it is. So it's already in the car. Just a matter of just having it run to the right areas, so I can run it up here through all of that mess and so forth. So yeah, so I'm just gonna move to the next clip where I have it run through here and so forth, because it's too difficult to hold the camera and do this. So just like that, you're gonna see this wire fish into that, just like that. Camera trick. All right, so let's get a quick look at the hose for the boost gauge. So if you notice, it's pretty long. It's right here. So I don't need all of this. So what I'm gonna do, I am gonna cut it. So I have my trusty knife right here, and I'm just gonna slice it, because this in itself is a pretty long cord, so I can pretty much go anywhere, so I don't need this to be too long. So I'm just gonna cut it about right here, and then it should be good. So let's see if I can find a good spot where you can see it. Don't have no tripod. Here we go. Alright, so as I say, I'm just gonna, so here it is. I had the boost hose cut, the boost line, so to read the reading. So I'm gonna hook this to that, and then this is connected to the gauge, and that's how it sends the power to the gauge. So that's pretty much it, not rocket science. Alright, so I'm just gonna fish in or channeling the wires through here, as you can see. Once I do that, I catch it through here, and then I'm gonna pull it down to another. Alright, so show you what I did. So it ran, as I said, through the comet here, and then if you look right here, you see a little white thing right there. It ran all the way back here, and I have it hooked up here. I'm going to put a little nut here to lock this down, and then it's connected to the boost hose right here. And I was running in the car, as you can see, it came through, and I have it already fished through the section here. And now it's just to wire it up, to power it up. So it's labeled here. So the black is ground, the orange one is ignition, and the red one is power. And I'm assuming the white one will go to your ECU should you want to wire it to that. But I already have the map sensor attached to it, so I don't think I need this. So it's just these three, which is power, ground, ignition, and that's it. So what I'm gonna do is just find a source that's in my fuse box and tap into that, and then we're good to go. I actually have these ends where it's pretty cool and neat. So what I'll do, I'll just replace it. I'll just put this into where a socket of where of like say if it's a power, if this is for power, I find something that gives me a straight power in my fuse box. I replace it to this and I put the fuse the fuse that I took out here. So you know it's a direct thing. There's no splicing of the wires, and I have it for both the power and ignition, as you can see here. And then the ground is screwed on, so I'll just screw the grounds on to the chassis. For the grounds, as you know, just once you're able to get it onto somewhere that is not painted, because the entire car is already grounded. So let's get that done. But it looks like the rain is gonna be giving me a fight, so I may have to resume this. But if not, you just see the finished product. So as I say, just find a power, ground, and an ignition lead, and then we're good from there. Alright guys, don't worry, it's way more intimidating than it really is. I just wanted to show you what I did. So this is pretty much the wire. So this is the wire for the, let's see, yeah, this is the blue wire. So this is for the vacuum, and this wire is for the power. And you know, pretty much I have it already here. So let's put it above here. So here we have a power, and yeah, what actually lights up the gauge. So let me just show you what I did here. So I decided to use the long cord, but as I say, it looks way more intimidating. By the time I use the zip ties and everything, it'll be fine. So what I did was to actually let me take this off, was to actually if you look at these two, one here, this one here, and this one there. So as I said, the kit that I happened to get had these two connectors. So what I did was to find a fuse that is for ignition, one is for power, and I just simply plug that fuse out, plug it in here, the corresponding fuse. So if it was a 10, these are both 10s here, so that will power that. And if it's ignition, then it's, so for example, this is a 7.5 and this is a 7.5, that's the ignition here. Is both 7.5s are in this module here. So once I did this, pretty much I can plug in the gauge and just show you how it wires up. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Let's see. Yep, so one's in, and let's see if I can get the other one. Give me a second. So the other one is in. All right, so the gauge is now plugged in. So as you know, I have the J there, I push to start, so let's arm it. So ignition, let's see. Nice. So that's ignition. As I said, slightly different from the other one where this constantly stays on. 1 second. I don't know what the kind of song was that. Alright, so this is ignition, and this is how it will always be. It constantly be this color. Still ignition. So I'm gonna start it, and you'll see. Let's see if I can just put it there. Right. So as you can see, it's reading the vacuum, as you can see. Let's just put some rev on it and see. There we go. And that's a reminder how it looks in the engine bay. See there. Alright, so let's see if I can get you guys a good view of the startup. The lighting is kind of killing me, so maybe later I'll do it, but here we go. Let's do it from this angle. So let's see if I just try to start it straight up. Yeah, so yeah, later I guess when the lighting isn't this bad, well, lighting is really good, but it's not good for this gauge and the angles. So I'll do another video later with it, but successfully installed. Everything is back together, as you can see, and we're good to go. Alright, so here it is at night. It's a little brighter than the other one, but it's kind of matching, so you kind of see the flow here. You know, the orange, but there's orange, that's orange, this is orange, and really and truly, this should not be there. Let's change this. Right. So if you notice, this is orange as well. So you see the theme. But yeah, that's it. It's caught in the crossfire.